Hey, it's your girl Racqui B, and you know it, each and every Monday, the Rundown with Racqui B here on 100.9 FM at 5 o'clock with my boy DJ Fire Kid on the ones and twos. And today's special guest, we have Tanesha-Mundy in the building. She'll give us some insight on the Trayvon Rowe incident tragedy. Rest in peace to Trayvon. Stay tuned to Dope Show. Peace. Yo, if you just tuning in, it's the Rundown with Racqui B each and every Monday with my boy DJ Fire Kid here on 100.9 FM WXIR Extreme Independent Radio. If you're just tuned in, before we had the break, I mentioned that this past week was a very somber week here in Rochester. 14-year-old Trayvon Rowe was reported missing on Thursday.
March 8th.
Right. Reported missing on Thursday. He got on the school bus 7:30 in the morning and got off and never reported to class. And the parents weren't notified until later that evening. And just recently, police have identified the body discovered in the Genesee River Sunday. Yesterday was the body of Trayvon, 14-year-old Trayvon Rowe. A lot of people have been voicing their opinions, their frustration with different people in the community, and one person in particular that opinion really stuck out to me because of her credentials is Miss Tanesha-Mundy and her affiliation with the community and the children of Rochester. And I wanted to bring her on the show so she can voice her opinion and her concern, her insight with this tragedy. Tanesha, what's up?
Good evening. Good afternoon.
How are you? I know.
We taking it one day at a time, working, trying to make sure, things go as they should.
So for those who don't know who you are, can you at least tell people like how your affiliation with the kids in Rochester, what you do as your full-time career?
First of all, I am a mother. I grew up in the Rochester community. I'm a teacher as well. I've held positions with the Boys and Girls Club of Rochester, so I have deep ties over at 500 Genesee Street. I'm also a teacher. I've been teaching in the district for about 10 years now. I'm a special education teacher.
Oh, wow.
So when I got home Thursday, as I'm putting my son to bed and we're getting ready, doing our nightly routine, we're watching the news and we're listening to the news, and I see that this young boy is missing.
Right.
I'm like, what's going on? So, we still continuing our routine, but it just stuck in my head that, this little boy, he didn't report home, but, they know that he went to school that morning. So, me being a teacher and a mom, I wake up the next morning, they still, searching. They said they didn't find him yet, so, after work Friday, I get off work, I do a few circles around the block in the South Ave area.
Okay, but hold on one second. You're about to get into some good stuff. So you have experience with special needs kids.
Absolutely.
And for those who don't know why this is such a big deal, Trayvon was actually a special needs kid, correct? He has autism.
He has autism. That's what I was told, or that's what has been circulating in the media, or has been reported in the media. I don't know his how far on the autism spectrum or where he is on the autism spectrum. I don't know that. That information is not privy to me. But I do know that children on the autism spectrum, some of them are verbal, nonverbal. Some of them are high functioning and low functioning. So I don't know what Trayvon's current condition was with the autism spectrum or within the condition of autism. So I cannot speak to.
So you work with kids that have autism?
Yes, of course.
So with kids that have autism, how do you actually communicate? How do you educate them? What are some of the needs that they require or their triggers, do you know?
Some of them, their triggers, as it has been reported, not really a trigger, but as many people have found out, not me, but many people have found out in the community, that children of autism or children who live with autism, they love water. They're fascinated by water. Another thing with children who are living with autism, they are fascinated by electronics as well. So what took him or what made him walk towards that location or what happened, that we'll never know.
Right.
Nobody will never know. But it's just a tragic situation all the way around. Some students that I have worked with or I've come across in the city school district that have services or that get services for autism, some of them are extremely intelligent.
Right.
Sometimes they have different gifts and talents.
Right.
Whether they are extremely gifted in math or writing, or they have they're musically inclined. Their talents and their abilities range. So and people have asked where was his aides, where was the paraprofessionals, where was the teachers. I've experienced in my years of teaching in the city school district, I've had in particular one class, 812 classroom. That's a classroom with children who are mainly behavioral or emotionally disturbed. So that means my capacity for classroom is 8 kids or 8 students, 2 adults other than myself and the teacher, me. Okay. Sometimes or most times, just from my experience, my staff that works with me, the 2 either a paraprofessional or teaching assistant, would go to the bus drop-off location in the morning. And they would escort either the kids they would gather them and escort them to breakfast and bring them up together to the classroom. Whether or not that was his classroom or his school's procedure, we don't know. Okay. I stand with, as of right now, because I am an RTA member. That's the Rochester Teachers Association.
Okay, is that a union?
Yes, that's a union.
Okay.
That's my union. Also, I'm not gonna. We haven't even begin to place blame and say it's the school's fault. It's the bus driver's fault. It's this person's fault. It's that person's fault. We don't know what their procedures were. We don't know why Trayvon, or that's yet to be determined, why he walked off or what triggered him to sway from his routine. Because if you know or if you've been around or experienced the company of someone who, or a child, a student who's living with autism or has autism, they have routines, and when there is a sway, or there's an obstacle, or if there's a differ from their routine, something throws them off. Okay. And that also is a trigger, because they're very routine and they're used to doing things a certain way. So when you have something that throws them off, I've heard different stories. He had a substitute bus driver, that could have been a trigger. Or whatever, or he lost his phone, or that type of thing. So you have to just keep in mind that most of the time these are trained professionals who are dealing with these kids, and sometimes they sway. We're not perfect. No one's perfect. Right. And we have to remember that his family is mourning. Right. Rochester is mourning right now. Right. There were thousands of people, hundreds of
that was searching for him.
That was searching.
So you were part of a search party, correct?
Yes.
So how did that come about? Did you meet with other people? Did they have did everyone meet somewhere? So who organized these search parties?
I took the first couple of days I didn't meet with anyone. Mm-hmm. I just went out on my own. I just thought like maybe we could spot him, or I might see him, or whatnot. Sunday, I went to the Alsego Center myself, and I got flyers, and I took my oldest son out, and we walked probably about 3 or 4 miles, looking for this kid. We were in the Genesee Valley Park area. We walked the foot trails. We walked along the boat launches down there, the footbridge that goes over the river. We went down by the U of R, There's like a waterway down there. We looked. I mean, it was, my son was tired. So, you know, if you know my oldest son, he was like, Mom, I'm tired. He was like, we don't see him. He was like, where you think he could be? So we ended up, the last spot that we went to was, we probably walked about 2 miles, like in the downtown area around South Avenue and Mount Hope.
And that's where he was reported.
Yeah.
That's where he was spotted.
That's where he was reported, you know, last spotted. Right. And, you know, my son, he actually was like, well, you know, I'm hungry. So we walked in the back, like Sanctuary City. Sanctuary City is where the homeless live. You know, there are tents back there. There are some homeless living quarters. So we walked through that way. There was a police on horse down there. There are a few other people who had flyers and was searching and was looking. And we were walking down the waterway. And as we were getting ready to leave, and we noticed that like the helicopter started flying over. And there were 2 boat launches. There were 2 scuba teams on each side of the river that were going up and down with sonar equipment. We witnessed that ourselves. So,
wow, that's deep. And the thing about it is that when we have a lot of our community really places some type of racial bias on missing kids. You know, a lot of times we complain that the community doesn't, or the RPD doesn't go hard enough to search for black kids. It's always the Amber Alerts for the white kids. And this time around, it was amazing. The impact, everyone coming together, the community really came together for this young man. And do you have any thoughts on why in particular was this situation, why did this make such a big impact? This young man in particular. Do you have any thoughts?
No, I really don't know. You know what I mean? It was, I read that, that we really, you know, I mean, I witnessed it, that Rochester really came together for this young man.
Really came together.
And I was upset last night because not only was I upset, my son was upset. My baby was hurting. He was upset because we really thought that we would find him or somebody would find him, and he would not be in the condition that he was in. It just really took me back, because I was taken back a little bit, because there were so many people who wanted to place blame and say, if it was a white boy, we would have had an Amber Alert. No, let's check your facts first of all. Let's do a little bit more research, and let's be a little bit more educated about the situation. Let's not be ignorant. An Amber Alert is for limit, right? No. There's not even an age limit. I don't think there's an age limit. I could be wrong, but an Amber Alert is issued for a child or someone who has been kidnapped or abducted, and they have a description of a vehicle and a license plate number.
I didn't even know that.
Okay.
That's good information.
So when a child or anyone goes missing, usually they give they're supposed to have, there's a 24-hour rule. There's supposed to be a 24-hour rule. But because of his circumstances and his condition, in which his parents said that they sent him to school and he did not return home, the missing persons alert was issued right away.
Right.
Or when the community found out, or when the school so-called notified, or the parents or the family notified the correct authorities. So that immediately started happening. You know what I mean? So I woke up, was it Friday morning, I noticed that he was still missing. I put on my Facebook page an alert and asked anyone who was, you know, who's my family, who's a Facebook friend, to share his picture. And, you know, basically it was his ID picture, a school picture that he had taken. And then the other picture on the side of it was a picture of him actually that morning, Thursday morning.
Oh, okay.
So that was a picture of him Thursday morning. Yep.
Okay.
That was a picture of him Thursday morning. So, allegedly. But, it's just so much ignorant on people that said, oh, if it was a black person, if it was a white kid, that there would be more done. Well, what I didn't understand was when I went looking, and when you looked on TV, and when you were out actually in the community, the shade of color of people, they didn't look like me.
Wow.
The majority of them did not look like me. They didn't look like Trayvon. So once again, here goes the ignorance and here goes the stupidity behind these people that are saying somebody didn't care about this kid. Everybody cared about this kid. You have fathers that lived out in Churchville that didn't look like us, Racqui, that didn't go home to their families that night because they were still out looking for this young man. There were people of many different shades that were out looking for this boy. And some people had the nerve to say, oh, the mayor only cared. The mayor was breaking her neck,
right,
and using every available resource to find Trayvon. In 4 days. The New York State Police was involved. Mary Carriola, Al Siegel Center, Autism Up, Brighton Police, Greece Police, New York State Police, Rochester PD. And it was just the nerve of some people. And what, I don't know if you noticed or if anybody else noticed, but the people who were the spokespeople for the Rochester Police Department, I mean, not that I'm saying I'm a fan of the Rochester Police Department, but in our community, we tend to have this stereotype and this bias that we are not fans of the police department.
Right.
They're not our friends.
Right.
But in truth, the people who spoke look like us, right or wrong. The commander up under the police chief, Simonelli, Mark Simmons, he's a brother. LaRon Singletary, he's a brother. The mayor, she's a sister. She looks like us. You know what I mean? So when we start to play this race card and try to have a racial divide when the community was united and people came together, and most of the people who were out looking for this young man were lighter shades of the color spectrum, then you have to sit down and analyze and say, nah, this wasn't about race. This was about somebody's baby who didn't come home, and we all lending a hand to help out and see what we can do to find him.
That's a fact. And a lot of people who are opinionated haven't done a thing. They didn't do one thing.
They just typed.
If you're just tuning in to the rundown, we have Tanesha-Mundy in the building. We're talking about the young man that was body was just discovered in the Genesee River yesterday, Trayvon Rowe. 14-year-old Trayvon Rowe attended school. Well, he got on the bus to attend school Thursday, 7:30 in the morning, and didn't report to class. And the family, unfortunately, had to be notified that their loved one was deceased. Stay tuned. We have more with Tanesha-Mundy when we get back. It's the rundown. Yes. If you're just tuning in, we are now with the rundown with Racqui B each and every Monday at 5 o'clock here on 100.9 FM. And right now the city is actually questioning God's plan, as RPD just confirmed that the body found in the Genesee River yesterday is the body of young teenage Trayvon Rowe. Right now with me in the studio, I have Tanesha-Mundy, an advocate for the youth in our community, a teacher, a mom, most importantly, a mom, and she's also grieving the loss of this young man. She's one of the many that went searching for this young man, and if you're hiding under the rock somewhere and you don't know what's going on, everyone on social media has expressed their frustration, their rage, their empathy for this young man and his family. A lot of people are shifting the blame and actually blaming the city school district, the mayor, RPD, everyone but themselves. But I have to say the community did come together. They come together for this young man. And they're actually saying that the city school district should do something, pay for the family's funeral expenses. I'm not sure how you feel about that, T. Like, do you think that they should take some accountability for this?
I would feel if it was my son, I'm just, I'll take my teacher hat off. right now. If it was my son, yeah, I would feel like that. It's extremely heartbreaking.
Right.
I think that they will, I think that there are things that are being done internally that no one is speaking on, no one is necessarily saying anything about, but we do know that I work for an employer and a district of a little bit more integrity than what people are thinking. So we'll give them their due process or their time, and we'll allow for things to take its place as God will have His will. I think that they're doing the right thing. I think that they are, but there has been. I was linked to the page. My family has been willing to give as well. That they've within 15 hours they've exceeded the amount that was asked.
Wow.
On this GoFundMe page.
So they requested 10,000.
Yeah, and the community has exceeded that. And once again, we bring it. Let's bring some color back to this situation too, because when I do things and when I make myself a part of things, I read and I looked at the GoFundMe page and it was a student from McQuaid that started the page. So again, it's there's a lot of people who are talking that are in the community, but it's just about time sometimes we just shut up and just do.
Right.
You know what I mean? I want to be a person about action. I don't want to talk about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I have my reservations to come in here, but I just want to do.
Right.
Forget about talking about it. Let's do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? If that was the case, if the African American or the city community wanted to help, we should have already been doing it.
Right.
Nobody should have suggested it or asked. It should have just been a page out there. Boom, it's done. Or just take money to the people's house. Take money to a school, drop off a money order or whatever, and say this is for Trayvon's family. You don't have to have it. Money has faces on it, but it don't have our faces on it. So, you could just put yours in a card or in an envelope, drop it off at his school or wherever, and or the Al Siegel Center or whatever. I don't know. But the thing is that you don't have to talk. Let's just do.
Let's just do. Exactly. And this has been a lot of talking on social media. More action, people. And I personally I know how sensitive this topic is, and I personally didn't want to touch on it, but it's impacted the community so much I had to. And a lot of people that have been voicing their opinion, I feel just doing it for social media's sake. I feel a lot of disingenuity, if that's a word. Is that a word? I'm going to make it a word. In some of the posts, but with Tanesha, I know your heart. I know where you stand within the community and the kids in the community, so I had to get you on this show to state your opinion, your insight, and just give the community some feedback on how you feel, because your opinion matters to me, because I know your heart, and I know a lot of people in the community know your stance when it comes to the kids. So I want to thank you very much for coming on the rundown. The vigil for Trayvon Rowe will be held at 7 o'clock at the Blue Cross Arena tonight. So please show your respects to the family and tone it down, because they are mourning, and just show some respect as well in social media.
Right.
Exactly. So let this family mourn. They did lose a loved one, and it has been a big thing in the media, so they can't even mourn in peace. Not even if they wanted to, they can't mourn in peace. So let's do our part to at least help them or aid them in mourning in peace, and tone it down on social media with the comments, the ignorance, you know, but Tanesha, thank you for coming into the rundown. I appreciate you being here. Stay tuned. We have more DJ Fire Kid. It's your girl, Racqui B. That's my boy Jay-Z. Had to put the little reggae up in there because, you know, that's a trend now. And I just want to say, Jay-Z and Beyonce just announced their tour, the On the Run Tour 2. All right, that's starting when? July? In July. I am not going to the tour in Buffalo. I'm trying to get as far away from Rochester as possible. So I'm going to go to Vancouver or somewhere and see them in Vancouver. Like, that's how far I want to get away from here.
That's like kind of major though.
Yeah, it is major. I didn't think, I was thinking Toronto.
Big things are going. Big
things are going. But I have my girl Tanesha-Mundy in the building. And Tanesha, you actually gave me my first hosting gig. So
I'm still here, everybody. I'm still here.
You started this. You started it. You started Racqui B. Man, you started Racqui B.
Man, I'm proud of you, man. It's a long road. It's been a long road, but you know, you're still here too, and you know, it's amazing. You know, sometimes, you know, you plant the seed or you help plant the seed. I'm not saying it was all me, but you know, your name was put in my ear. I'm like, man, who could I get to host this party? We trying to do this. And so I had already had another young lady do it with you, and then Damien was like, yo, what you think about Racqui? I was like, man, let's do it. Let's get her. And so
let's get her. And they've been getting me ever since.
Hey,
and I'm here now.
Word.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Big ups to Racqui.
Tanesha, I know Toshman put me on. Tanesha put me on. It's been a journey. I earned my stripes, y'all. I did. It's the process. Trust the process. And now you listen to me on your radio, my own show, honey. Okay, trust the process.
Yeah, I had to run down on her. She tried to run down on me today. Hey, you want to do the show? I was like, yeah. Let's not forget.
Man, thank you for coming through. It's a rundown with Racqui B each and every Monday at 5 o'clock here on 100.9 FM. It's time to go. Oh no, we gotta go. It's 34 degrees outside. It is hot in Rochester and even hotter in here with DJ Fire Kid. Next up, we have the Queen Code with my girls Tiffany Nicole and Kelly Pope. Stay tuned. They have some juicy topics for you. What you guys talking about today? Cheating? Oh, I'm in. They're talking about cheating today. Stay tuned for the Queen Code. It's your girl Racqui B. See you next Monday. Peace.